Megan, and welcome back to the Salmon River Estuary. Last time, we went underwater with the Chinook salmon, on land with the Sitka spruce, and up into the air with the great blue heron, as we discovered how they care for their families, but providing food and safety in different ways. More clues to the mystery of why they choose to make the estuary their home. Today, we'll learn more about these families and life in the estuary as we look at what they have in common and how they're different, not only with each other, but with our families too. Are you ready? Let's go. All living things have the same needs, food and safety, but also air, water, and shelter. Even though we all need these things, how we get them is different. Scientists refer to our differences like these as diversity. Diversity is important because it allows us to all live together and still get what we need. Even though we compete with each other, our differences help us to share. The estuary is like a giant puzzle, and everything in it is just one piece. The water, the soil, each plant and animal, including us, each has our own role to play, and each piece is connected as part of the puzzle. Earlier in our journey in the estuary, we explored how it provides food and safety. So let's take a look at something else we all need: the air. As humans, our bodies need oxygen, and to get it, we breathe. What do our wild relatives need from the air? Do they breathe too?
We all breathe in our own way. Some need oxygen, like us, and others need different gases from the air, like trees, who breathe in the carbon dioxide we breathe out. Herons and their young breathe using their lungs, just like we do. But what about salmon? How do they breathe underwater? Salmon use their gills to take oxygen from the water, just like our lungs take oxygen from the air. Plants, like the Sitka, breathe through their needles.
We all need the air, but we get what we need in different ways. And there's lots of air in the estuary, so it's easy to share. To uncover more clues about why the estuary is such a great place to live, we need to look at something that's harder to share: space. Humans sometimes find it hard to share our space with others, even in our own families. Let's take a look at how all the living things in the estuary get the space and shelter they need.
Salmon make their homes in the river at first, but they keep moving their entire lives. They live in the estuary for a while, and then in the ocean. Like some of us, they don't have one space they call home. Instead, they share their space in the estuary with other animals. As we learned earlier, all the rain that falls here feeds the river where young salmon grow up. But the rain also makes it possible for other plants and animals to live here, including us. The Sitka also needs the water. They only grow in areas where they can get enough water and sunlight. Unlike the salmon, who move a lot, the Sitka stay in the same place for hundreds of years. The estuary will be their home for their entire life, so they share their space in a different way. Herons make their nests in the trees, sharing the tree's space. The herons also share the river and the water habitats of the estuary, not for shelter, but for food. While they share these spaces, they are also very protective of their favorite spots.
Okay, so another clue to what makes the estuary such an amazing home is the diversity of the plants and animals that live here. While they all need the same things, they're able to share them because they use them at different times and in different ways. As humans, we need to be able to talk to each other in order to share and get along with our families and our friends. We need to be able to ask for help or tell someone what we need. Do plants and animals in the estuary also talk to each other? Yes.
Baby birds, like our herons, tell their parents they're hungry using very loud voices. And you can often hear birds talking to each other when they're all together. Salmon don't have voices like ours and the herons, but they do communicate with each other by moving their heads, fins, and bodies. Humans also use body language, like smiles and nods, or sign language to talk to each other. But what about trees? Do they talk with each other? They actually do. Scientists are still discovering all the ways plants talk to each other under the ground.
Wow, we've learned a lot of things that the salmon, Sitka, and heron families have in common with each other and with us too. But we've also found a lot of ways that each of us is different. This diversity and how we're all able to talk to each other show us how we're all related as living creatures, sharing the same space and water and air. The estuary's diversity and the way our wild relatives share what they need are more clues to why the estuary can be home to so many. See you soon in the next part of our estuary adventure.